As I record this on Thursday afternoon for publication Friday morning, it is 103 degrees here in West Fort Worth. Holy cow. Yowza. Good day to stay in if you can. Also, I just washed my hair, so it's a little bit fluffy and unruly at the moment. None of that has anything to do with what we're going to talk about. Here I am acting like it's a live episode. Alrighty, we're going to roll on into the radio intro and go through the material. Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for August 9th. August 9th is the 221st day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 222nd in leap years, with 144 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is univocal. Looks like it would be pronounced univocal, doesn't it? But it really is univocal, I promise. Univocal can be a noun or an adjective. As an adjective, univocal means having one meaning only, subject to a single interpretation, unambiguous. Similarly, as a noun, univocal refers to a word or term having but one meaning. The term univocal refers to having one clear, specific meaning. When something is univocal, it is unambiguous and can only be interpreted one way. For example, what part of no don't you understand? They're referencing the univocal nature of the word no. The word triangle is univocal because it specifically refers to a three-sided polygon. In scientific writing, it's important to use univocal terms to avoid confusion. For example, the instructions were univocal, leaving no room for misinterpretation. The word univocal comes to us from Latin, one voice, and evolved from a Proto-Indo-European root word that meant to speak. First known use of the word univocal is in the 1540s. Univocal. Today's word univocal was suggested by YouTube viewer at T. Ramsire. Thanks, Teresa. And if you have a word you'd like to see in this Word of the Day segment, drop it in the comments. We'll get it on the list. And with that, Jerome John Garcia was born on August 1st, 1942, in San Francisco, California. We know him better as one of the founders of the band Grateful Dead. He played with them for 30 years, occasionally doing other work as well. It's funny how the various events of one's life piece together sometimes. Jerry's dad drowned when Jerry was 5, and his mother took over the family business, running her husband's bar. Unable to give her full attention to both the business and her children, she sent the boys to live with her parents. It was during that time that he was exposed to two significant experiences. His grandmother loved bluegrass music at the Grand Ole Opry, and a third-grade teacher who encouraged his artistic abilities, art and music. It was in this time that Jerry started playing banjo, his first stringed instrument. The boys' mother remarried in 1953, and the boys went to live back with their mother and their new stepfather. Jerry's brother Clifford introduced Jerry to rock and roll, rhythm and blues. Clifford would sing his favorite songs and have Jerry learn the harmony parts. In 1960, Jerry got into a little trouble as a teenager and was presented with the option of going to prison or joining the Army. He chose the Army. He got through basic training and ended up with a general discharge later that year. Early in 1961, Jerry Garcia was in a terrible car crash that was fatal to the driver and resulted in severe injuries to the other passenger. Jerry was thrown from the vehicle and ended up with a broken collarbone. This served as a wake-up call for him and is when he became more focused on making music. He met other musicians and played various gigs, mostly bluegrass, old-time, folk music initially. In 1965, Jerry and the boys were on a new horizon. Discovering the band name that they had chosen was already in use, they had to choose a new name. The story is that they had a dictionary, and Jerry opened it up, apparently randomly, and saw the term there. "Hey man, how about the Grateful Dead?" he asked. None of the guys liked it at the time, but they kind of kicked it around, word got out, and the name came into use, and here we are. A huge fan base of what are now called Deadheads all these decades later. There is a story about what that term Grateful Dead means, but how about let's do that one up in the Word of the Day entry. Okay? Amazing individual, Jerry Garcia, and as has happened with so many others, famous and unknown, Jerry had struggled with substance abuse issues and other really pretty serious chronic health issues. In July of 1995, he went into a residential treatment facility, and sadly he was in such poor physical condition from his chronic health issues that he died of a heart attack on August 9th, 1995, at the age of 53. There was a funeral at St. Stephen's Episcopal Church in Belvedere on August 12, 1995, attended by the band members and their families and Bob Dylan. And the next day, on August 13th, there was a public memorial at the polo fields of San Francisco's Golden Gate Park. About 25,000 mourners in attendance. Jerry Garcia. Now, I meant to tell you a little bit about a lot of things today, but I got a little carried away with my research on Jerry Garcia and the song that we're getting ready to talk about. So if you'd like to see about some things that I talked about in previous years for August 9th, I'll grab a link for you and leave it in the description. We also have a playlist of episodes for this day in history, as well as a playlist of single subjects in a playlist called How About That? And words of the day in a playlist called There's a Word for That, and I'll leave links to all those playlists for you. Hold on. Given that we've been talking about Jerry Garcia today, a song from the Grateful Dead would be in order, and the song that always comes to mind for me is one called Addicts of My Life. Written by Jerry Garcia and Robert Hunter, this one is on Grateful Dead's American Beauty album, and I have to say it's hard for me to talk about this song without welling up. I do have my tissues handy. I was aware of the Grateful Dead when they had a few records that made it to mainstream radio. I was fairly neutral about them, to be truthful, but then some people came into my life that were avid Deadheads. One day in the early 2000s, we were having some work done on the house, and the late Mr. Newby had put on a CD of American Beauty. I was sitting at the dining table eating lunch when Addicts of My Life came on. Nothing to do but eat my sandwich and listen to the music. I actually heard the song for the first time. And as those lyrics rolled, I was like, what did I just hear? I'd love to recite some of it for you right now, but I'm afraid that I might well up and become unable to talk. So I'll encourage you to go listen to it if you're not familiar with it. I'm sure it was never released as a single, surely never charted, but I bet the uncounted thousands, maybe millions of Deadheads are bound to know about this one. Beautiful song, Addicts of My Life by the Grateful Dead. Link in the description. My goodness, what a mess. The 222nd day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. That's not right. Your green screen. There you go. Okay. Make your eyes disappear. Okay. The Univocal. What is going on with my thing here? That's irritating. Yeah, we're going to have some outtakes today, too. Why can't I remember that? Room for misinformation. Okay, we need that to be green. Now, given that... Did you really? Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. Now, I meant to tell you a little bit about a lot of things, but this research, I got a little carried away. So, I'm glad we're not live right now. Now, if I do that... Oh, I don't have that. Do I have that? Okay, hold on. Decades from now, when it's my turn to go, I'd like this to be part of my funeral music. Crazy mess. Well, we're definitely having outtakes today. You might even get to see some of them. All right, we're going to roll on into the outro now. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Alrighty, back to work. I think we got it this time.